Hello everyone, welcome back to my astrology channel. This is Aparna, your astrologer. Now today's content that I'm creating is going to be an audio one instead of a video one, which I usually create. So I'm quite excited about trying this new way of doing it. And going forward, I will be making some of my content like that. I will be making a lot more videos, but I will also be balancing it with some audio ones like this, like podcasting style. So today I will be talking about the eclipse season that's beginning, the 2022 eclipse season that's beginning in the Taurus and Scorpio axis, beginning from the 30th of April. That's when the first eclipse is, and then right up till November 8th, when the last eclipse occurs in this Scorpio Taurus axis for this year 2022. Now, before I begin with that, I just want to thank everyone, all of you who have been commenting, liking my videos, and have subscribed to my channel. I really appreciate all your contributions, so thank you very much. And those of you who are watching my content and have not yet subscribed to my channel, please do, because that helps me grow my channel. So thank you very much, everybody, once again. So let's begin with today's video. The eclipse season begins on the 30th of April with a solar eclipse in the sign of Taurus. Then it is followed by a lunar eclipse on the 16th of May in the sign of Scorpio. After that, there is a gap, and another solar eclipse occurs on the 25th of October in the sign of Scorpio. And the last eclipse in this year is on the 8th of November. It's a lunar eclipse in the sign of Taurus. Now, we had the lunar nodes shifting on this axis in January, earlier this year, in January 2022. So that's what triggers an eclipse. Wherever the nodes are, that is kind of where the eclipses occurs. So the north node moved in the sign of Taurus, and the south node moved in the sign of Scorpio in January 2022, and will remain on this axis until July 2023. So we will have some more eclipses on this axis next year as well. But for this year, it begins on the 30th of April, ending on the 8th of November. Now, the solar eclipse is accompanied with a new moon, and a lunar eclipse is accompanied with a full moon. So solar eclipse is a time of new beginnings, and lunar eclipse is the time of culmination and fulfillment. So you will see the effects of these new moons and full moons unfolding over a period of 6 months on either side. But because it's eclipses accompanying these new moon and full moon, the effect is a bit long term as well, because there is a massive shift happening. It's not just a change, a 6 months period change that's occurring during this eclipse or any eclipse season. There's a massive shift happening on your Taurus-Scorpio axis. So wherever your Taurus and Scorpio sign is in your chart, that's where the transformation, the shift, the change, the new cycle is beginning, and an old cycle is completing. So it's a very crucial period of time to not procrastinate, not to sit around, be more conscious of the energies, and use it to the best of to grow yourself, to move forward. Whatever you want to manifest in life, or whatever you want to release and transcend, during this time, this is the time to take action and move forward. Now, it is on a Taurus-Scorpio axis, which is a fixed sign, and fixed signs are generally not as eager to make changes, bring changes about in life. They are all about stability and security, and they are very much about the tried and tested method, rather than going out and really changing things, changing their pattern, the way they do things. So that energy is definitely associated with this Taurus-Scorpio axis as well. But the eclipses are all about bringing change in life, bringing transformation in life. And these eclipses will almost force you to bring these changes. And if you're not bringing the changes in wherever Taurus-Scorpio axis is, you will find it very challenging to deal with that energy. So when a solar eclipse is occurring in Taurus or Scorpio throughout the 6 months period until November 2022, make sure you are thinking about or manifesting new energies in your life in that area. And when the lunar eclipse occurs in the Taurus or Scorpio axis during the 6 months, make sure you are transcending, releasing old energies to make room for new energies in your life. So I will go through each of the 12 zodiac sign, and just go through the what energies you can expect, the house matter that's affecting each of the zodiac signs. So I will discuss each one of them one by one, and just kind of run through the areas, the experiences that you will have, and what are you what you can expect, where what you are releasing, what you are embracing during this time. So it's quite a crucial period to bring about shift in wherever the energy is stuck, wherever we are not growing. So definitely it's something to look forward for the next 6 months, and be prepared for it, because it's going to be quite action packed time, but also very exciting time, because with eclipses, the change is sometimes very much wanted in our life, because we feel so stuck in certain areas, especially where the south node is, where the Scorpio sign is for this year. So there would be some release during this time in that area, because it's a lot of stagnant energy, and then there would be a new beginning in that area as well, in your Scorpio house. So you're releasing the old energy, and then bringing the new energy as well, in the October November period of the eclipse cycle. So definitely, this is the time, these 6 months is a time to really think about how you can progress in life, and what will bring growth in your life, basically. And if is it your own mindset that is holding you back, because sometimes more than external energies or external influences, what really stops us from growing is our own mindset, the way we see things, the way we perceive things, our own fear, our own paranoia. Maybe we procrastinate. So it's definitely a good idea to be mindful of, the changes that is possible, the transition that is possible this year with this Taurus-Scorpio eclipses, and to bring those energies in your life as well, and move forward. So let's begin with each of the 12 zodiac sign, and I'll discuss the energies one by one. So let's begin. So first up is Aries. Aries, for you, the Taurus-Scorpio eclipses occurs on your second and eighth axis, because Taurus is your second house sign, and Scorpio is on your eighth house. So your second house and eighth house axis is spotlighted, is in focus this year's during the eclipse season, and this is where your transition, transformation, shift, just complete shift is happening for you, Aries. Now the second house is about your money matters, it's about your resources, it's about the way you support yourself financially, the wealth you accumulate, the material gains, the 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 assets, the possessions, your need for stability, security, and just your self-worth and self-trust as well. So all these energies are going to go through a kind of a transformation, transition this year during the eclipse season. Now eighth house axis is to do with your, it's a transformative house, because it's a eighth house Scorpio energy. So it's about transformation, it's about your psychological landscape, it's about death and rebirth, it's about sexual intimacy. Eighth house is to do with other people's money as well, shared finance, social finance, and also to do with your shared values. So with the eclipses occurring on the second and eighth house axis, Aries, this is the time to balance and integrate your need for stability and security, because this is all about your financial perspective, how you see your finances, how you manage it, what value it brings to you, how you see yourself through your finances as well, because it's to do with value system and self-worth and trust as well, because eighth house is the axis of trusting others with money, and second house is the axis of self-trust, trusting yourself, and it's about your value system as well. So this axis is going to be a lot about how you manage money, how you handle money. So with the eclipses in the April and May period, which is the solar eclipse in the Taurus sign in your second house on the 30th of April, and lunar eclipse in the sign of Scorpio on the 16th of May, this is the time to manifest new energies regarding second house matter, and releasing or transcending old energies or old ways of doing things in your eighth house matter, in your in your shared financial matter. So if there is any old energies that is keeping you stuck, if it's like a loan, or a debt, or the way you share money, the way if it's a business, it can be a business theme as well. It's not only personal with the eighth house. So if you're coming together for a mutually financial situation, a mutually benefiting financial situation, it can be that can be holding you back as well. So any energy areas that is old, that is not helping you grow anymore, and that's become redundant, that is not good for you, it needs to be released, needs to be transcended. And the energies that you manifest on the 30th of April in your second house to create more wealth for you, to make more money, to use your money making capabilities to accumulate more wealth, those will not be effective if you don't transcend, if you don't release old energies in your joint matters. So it's very important during the April and May part of the eclipse season to release old energies in your eighth house, where you share your finances, and manifest new energies in your second house, where you create your own personal wealth. So that's your April and May energy, Aries, for the eclipse season, for the 2022 eclipse season. Now, the second round of the eclipse season occurs on the 25th of October, which is a solar eclipse in your Scorpio sign, which is 8th house. And there's a lunar eclipse in the sign of Taurus in your second house on the 8th of November. Now, this is the time that energies are turned around. So this is the time when you are manifesting new ways of doing your shared finances. Eighth house matters. So you are creating more money by collaboration, coming together, mutually benefiting financial situation, or you are taking out a loan for whatever purpose you want to take out a loan. So that time on the 25th of October, it's a really good time to bring in these new energies in your shared finances. Following this solar eclipse on the 8th of November, when the lunar eclipse occurs on the sign of Taurus in your second house, that's the time when you are releasing any old energies, things that are not working out for you. Maybe your own mindset is holding you back from creating your own personal wealth, expanding your wealth, growing yourself financially is you're holding yourself back. Maybe there's overindulgence, maybe there's a lot of money spent, you're spending a lot because you're making a lot of money, so you're spending a lot of money. So it's important to watch out your spending as well with the second house energy, especially in towards the end of the eclipse season, because the opportunities that you create during the April and May eclipse cycle, you may have to rethink those strategy in the October November cycle of the eclipse season. All the four eclipses goes together, and you will see the energies unfold over a 6 months period, either side. So it's crucial, Aries, to stay alert and be mindful about your financial matter, and not to keep yourself stuck in old stagnant energies, especially if there's an opportunity to release it and move forward with renewed energy in your financial matter. And this is both second and eighth house energy. So any energies that is stuck in your second house matter or eighth house matter needs to be released during this eclipse season, and new energies needs to be manifested in both the house matters. So overall, Aries, this eclipse season for you is all about resources, survival, security, transformation, power, balancing, integrating your financial matter in your new mindset, and moving forward with growth and prosperity, opportunity where financial matters are concerned. And this is both on a personal and shared both level. Thank you. Taurus, for you, the 2022 eclipse season occurs in your sign, in your first house, and your opposite sign in the sign of Scorpio in your seventh house. So your first house and seventh house axis is in focus during this eclipse season from April 30th up till 8th November. So there is two cycles to this eclipse season. The first one is the solar eclipse and lunar eclipse in April and May 2022, and the second round of this the eclipse is in October and November. So it begins with a solar eclipse in the sign of Taurus in your sign on the 30th of April, and then it's followed by a lunar eclipse on the 16th of May in the sign of Scorpio in your seventh house. And then there is a solar eclipse in on the 25th of October in the sign of Scorpio, which is your seventh house, followed by a lunar eclipse in the sign of Taurus in your first house on the 8th of November. So a solar eclipse is accompanied with a new moon, and a lunar eclipse with a full moon. So a solar eclipse is about new beginnings, manifesting new things, starting new things, and a lunar eclipse is to do with culmination, completion, gratification, fulfillment. So for Taurus, this eclipse season is a lot about relationship matters for you. And this is about relationship with yourself and relationship with others. So during this 6 months period, you will go through a dramatic changes, a kind of complete shake-up regarding how world perceives you and how you see your relationship, your expectations in a relationship and other people's expectation in a relationship. Now, relationship is not just to do with your spousal relationship or personal relationship. It can be all social interaction, one-to-one interactions. So any interaction that you have with people on a regular basis, that is your seventh house matter. Now, first house is to do with yourself, your self-image, your body image as well, your appearance, how you project yourself, how you communicate, just your overall self, your self-expression, your self-confidence. All these is first house matter. Now, the first round of eclipses on the 30th of April and 16th of May is going to be a lot about manifesting new energies in the first house matter. So you are really looking at what brings growth for you from your own self, your own self-image, how you can improve that. You will be very much focused on improving your body image, improving your appearance during this time, and how you project yourself as well. You are very keen in creating a different image for yourself during this time, especially if the old energies were not satisfactory. Now, Uranus is also in your sign for a few years and will be there for a few years more. So you already going through a need to change. This rebooting is already happening for many years, but now is the time when this axis, this surely shift in the balance will surely shift, and you will definitely will be a little bit more self-focused during this time, during this eclipse season. So what you're doing in the first part of this cycle is you're releasing any old energies regarding relationship matters. If there are people in your life, relationship in your life, which is disempowering you, is not growing you, is not good for your growth, you are releasing them. You are moving away from those energies, and you're focusing on how you are perceived, your own freedom, your own independence, your need for self-exploration. You are really looking at your self-image, your own opportunities, your own priorities, your own destiny. So you're very much focused regarding your own self, and you're moving away from any limiting energies where relationship matters are concerned. So at the end of the day, it's all about finding a balance between your first house and seventh house energy, because the second round of the cycle of this eclipse, which is in October and November, the energies are a little bit turned around, because now the lunar eclipse is in your first house and solar eclipse is in your seventh house. So it's all about your mindset, Taurus, how you perceive yourself and how you engage with other people, the trust factor, how how you're there for people if they need your support, your help, in relationship, whether it's spouse or anybody else. So you're transcending these energies as well. So it's a great time to improve relationship, personal relationship, even business partnership, because seventh house is to do with all kind of relationship, and it's business and personal. So if you've got business partnership, these can end during the May eclipse season, and you can have some kind of new energy coming in during the October eclipse. And you're also improving your personal relationship and all relationship as well, especially in the second in the October eclipse time. But overall, during the entire eclipse season, the energies are going to be an overall kind of energy. It's not a date to release and manifest. There's no one fixed date. It's the entire eclipse season. You are manifesting new energies in yourself and in your relationship, and releasing old energies within yourself, in your self image, and within your relationship. So 2022 is a lot about about relationship for you, Taurus. And so you will experience shakeups, dramatic changes, unexpected changes as well, regarding your image, how people see you, how other people see you in relationship, how you interact with people, your personal appearance, your social connections, your your close friends, the support and advice you give and you receive. So all that is going through a shift, Taurus, for you. So just be ready to express new ways of being in this world, expressing yourself, projecting yourself, and you will experience this evolutionary impact of others in your life as well during this eclipse season entire. So whether this impact is on a positive note or a challenging note, whatever that might be, that's for you to decide what energies you want to carry forward and what energies you want to release. So this time is definitely focused on yourself and others, on your independence and codependence. So if there is overly sense of in codependence or interdependence with other people, this is the time to find your own way. You can coexist, which is fine, but it's also important to find your own grounding. It's important to find what is growing you, what is good for you going forward. And you will see this shift going forward, Taurus, most definitely, because this eclipse season will definitely shift you in that, or nudge you or push you in that direction, most definitely. So this shift is definitely happening for you this year, Taurus. So overall, Taurus, this eclipse season for you is all about self-discovery, independence, new choices, self-motivation, and taking calculated risk regarding approaching your sense of self, and just having new beginnings and being your own person, and also improving relationship, balancing your relationship, integrating yourself with people, other people, trusting them. And if there are any kind of energies that is not growing you, also having the courage to release those energies. And this releasing energy is both within yourself, any aspect of yourself that is not good for you going forward, you need to have the courage to release that as well, Taurus. So overall, it's a great time to focus on your overall growth, Taurus. Geminis, for you, the 2022 eclipse season is focused on your 12th house and 6th house axis, because that's where your Taurus and Scorpio sign is. Your 12th house is the Taurus sign, and your 6th house is the Scorpio. Now, the eclipses occurs in the month of April, May, and then in October and November. But the entire 6 months is influenced by this eclipse energy. So you'll see the influence of these eclipse unfold over the period of 6 months before and after the eclipses. So an eclipse is a time of massive shifts. It's almost dramatic shift, major shakeups, new directions, new opportunities. It's about dealing with energies that is not useful to us anymore, handling them and releasing them if it's stunting your growth. So the solar eclipse, which occurs in the month of April and then in October on your 12th and 6th house axis, will be a time for new beginnings in your 12th house and 6th house matter. Now, in the month of May and November, there will be two lunar eclipses in the houses of 12th and 6th. So these are the time when you release old energies, old ways of doing things in your 12th and 6th house matter. Now, the 12th house is a very spiritual house. It's to do with your subconscious self. It's to do with your unconscious behavior, your inner motivation. It's to do with your secrets, your spiritual sides, your past patterns, old patterns, retreating away from from people, withdrawing from people. Just on daily life, you move away because it's a house of retreating, escaping, solitude. It's a house of surrender and loss as well, and it's also the house of self-sabotage and self-deception, leading to a loss. Now 12th house also deals with healing because it's on the axis of the 6th house, which is to do with your health. 12th house is about healing, so 12th and 6th house together is associated with your mind, body, and spirit. Now, sixth house is to do with your health and work life. It's about your daily life, your daily routine, your schedules, the patterns, lifestyle, your work, your service, the duties, the daily habits, your healthy attitude, just generally what you do on a daily basis. It's also to do with your work life, your co-workers, your work environment, and all that. So Geminis, when an eclipse occurs on the 12th and 6th house axis, this is the time to really you know evaluate where you're heading in terms of your own well-being, your own life path, your habits, what you do on a habitual basis, your physical self, your daily life routines, and your own relationship with your mind, body, and spirit. So you're embracing a new way of dealing with these circumstances, your daily life and your health needs and your well-being. So that's the main theme during this time, and the service that you provide, the duties you have towards other people and towards yourself, all this is going through a major shift. You may discover that you need a new set of job skills or new job altogether to be able to move forward in life, to grow. Now whatever you're doing currently, you may have to have a look, like a second look at it, and see whatever you're doing, is it fulfilling, is it satisfying, is it growing you? If it's not doing all these things, then you may have to reevaluate your life direction, your choices, where you're heading. So this could be a great time to really understand your psychology, your inner motivations, and really look at what do you truly connect with, what do you want to do going forward, where does your well-being lies, where your health and wellness, overall healing lies. So Geminis, this is actually a brilliant time to really reevaluate your life path, what you are here to do, what brings gratification, fulfillment, inner contentment. It's not about external validation much during this eclipse season for you, Gemini. It's more about your own sense of self, your own inner fulfillment, inner knowledge, your self knowledge about yourself. All those things is going through a shift, and you're understanding your own motivation, your own subconscious better during this time. So Geminis, during this time, you're really connecting with your spiritual side as well. You're balancing and integrating the service that you provide to others and to yourself, and really looking deeply into it, if it's connected to your true self, true to your own to your own well-being, the wisdom that you are sharing, is it supporting your own self? So if you think you're overworking or oversharing yourself, or overdoing in terms of serving other people, and being of duty to other people, and not taking care of your own health and well-being, then this eclipse will bring that shift in your life, because this is the time you're a little bit more focused on yourself, your own well-being, your own healing. It's a very spiritual time, so you're connecting with your spiritual self as well, your inner self. So it's very important to release any kind of past patterns, old ways of doing things, even if there are a relationship in life, people in your life, or jobs, any kind of situation, financial, career wise, whatever situations you have in life that is not healing you, that's not growing you, is keeping you stuck in your old patterns. This is the time to release all those energies. Now 12th house also deals with self-deception. So if these patterns are emerging from your own conscience, your own mindset, then that needs to be released and renewed as well. So Geminis, during this eclipse, you are going beyond your things that you do on a repeat, on a habit, things that's automated in your life. You're going beyond that, and you're really connecting with your inner self. Now the April eclipse, the solar eclipse in the sign of Taurus, which is your 12th house, that's just the time you are manifesting new ways of connecting with your own self. You're being more spiritual, maybe doing yoga, meditation, connecting with your inner self, your spiritual side, and you're manifesting these energies. Now in the May lunar eclipse is releasing old habits, which is your 6th house. So Scorpio is the lunar eclipse is in your 6th house in the sign of Scorpio. So in the month of May, you're releasing old habits, and you're bringing in new energy in terms of focused on your own well-being and your own spiritual growth. Now in the month of October, it's the other way around. So you are bringing in new habits in your life to set a new pattern, start a new cycle in terms of your work and health matters, maybe a new health regime, or maybe a new job, or the way you do things. Maybe you're thinking about doing it differently, and you're releasing any patterns in the month of November with a lunar eclipse in your 12th house. You're releasing any old patterns that is not helping you grow, that is stuck in the past kind of energy, and is self-deceiving as well. So you are overall during this eclipse season, Geminis, what you are doing is you're connecting with your heart center, you're connecting with your mind, body, and spirit, and overall just releasing old habits, old patterns that is not functioning anymore, that's not useful for you anymore, and you're a little bit more focused on your well-being, on your health, on your spiritual advancement, on your life path and life direction. And if anything that needs evaluation and release, or ending, then the lunar eclipses would be the time to end those energies, and solar eclipse is the time to manifest new energies during this eclipse season. So Geminis, it's a time of service, healing, spiritual connection for you. So do balance out both the energies of 12th and 6th house, and focus on the well-being of your mind, body, and spirit. Cancer, for you, the 2022 eclipse season on the Taurus-Scorpio axis occurs in your 11th house and 5th house axis. Now, 11th house is where the Taurus sign is, and 5th house is where your Scorpio sign is. So 11th house and 5th house axis is activated during this 2022 eclipse season. Now the eclipse season begins on the 30th of April. That's when the first lunar eclipse in the sign of Taurus will take place. Then after that, there is a solar eclipse in the sign of Scorpio on the 16th of May. That is in your 5th house. Now after that, there's another cycle. Now after that, there is another round of eclipses in October and November. So on the 25th of October, there's a solar eclipse occurring in the sign of Scorpio, which is your 5th house. And then on the 8th of November, there is a lunar eclipse occurring in your 11th house in the sign of Taurus. So Cancer, for you, the 11th house and 5th house axis is spotlighted during this eclipse season. Now eclipses are a time when we go through major shift, major turnarounds, transitions, transformation in wherever the eclipses are occurring. So for you, Cancer, there's a major shift occurring this year, just entire year in your 11th house and 5th house matter. Now 11th house matter is to do with your social circle, your collaborations, your group project, group work, your peers, organization you're part of, club you're part of, old friends, new encounters as well. It's also to do with your future hopes and wishes, your professional gains, and your collective mindset, the group mindset, social mindset. That's 11th house matter. Now 5th house, on the other hand, is all about self-expression, solo project, creative projects. It's about romance, your children. It's about starting a family. It's about, having fun, recreational time, fun time, basically doing things that brings you joy and gratification. So Cancer, during this eclipse season for you, it's very important to step outside your familiar way of functioning, especially in the 11th house and 5th house matter. Now 11th and 5th house matter is about being ready to claim and express your most authentic self, and putting yourself out there. That's what the 11th house and 5th house matter is, because it's to do with your self expression and collective expression. So your place in the crowd, how you connect with people, how you collaborate with people for professional matters, group matters, teamwork and all that. And the 5th house is about your own role, your own individual role in the in the larger scheme of things. So Cancer, during this eclipses there will be a lot of focus for you on friendships, on popularity, on joining clubs or team or group. You're very focused on doing that, especially because North Node is in your 11th house. So those are the energies you're really working actively towards. You're progressing towards that. And Scorpio is your 5th house, where the South Node is. So you are kind of releasing old stuck ways of doing things in your 5th house matter. So during this time, Cancer, during this eclipse season 2022, you may find yourself making futuristic plan, long-term plan, because 11th house is to do with your future hopes and wishes. And this may be, for after a long time, you may maybe actually making, your 5-year or 10-year plan. During this time you have some life goals and you want to achieve, and you are really working on those during this time. And this can be anything. It can be to do with your group projects, collaborations. You want to join an organization, club for your career matters, for your social environment. You may be also moving away from your current social environment because maybe you have outgrown them, and or you're not growing there. The current situation is not helping you grow. So during the eclipse season, Cancer, it's very important for you, to focus on, being more visible in a collective environment, to collaborate more, to connect with more people, and not get stuck by, selfish means, or focusing too much on yourself, and, being visible just on your own accord, and not ready to, contribute in a group. So during this eclipse, what's shifting for you is that it's okay to be a part of a group, and you don't need to always shine just by yourself. You are more focused on teamwork and collaborations during this time, and working in a large team and group, rather than just overly focused on just your own self-expression, your own solo expression, solo projects and all that. So Cancer, during the first round of the eclipse, which is in the month of April and May, there is going to be a solar eclipse in the 11th house and lunar eclipse in your 5th house. So with solar eclipse in your 11th house, you are starting something new in terms of your group project, collaboration, your future hopes and wishes. Maybe you are putting down long-term plans regarding how you want to move ahead. And during the May lunar eclipse, you are releasing or moving away or culminating or ending something which is related to 5th house matter. You could be releasing just your mindset as well around 5th house matter. The 5th house is to do with creativity. Maybe you are more focused in your career goals, future goals during this time, and not as keen for to start a family, or to marry, or have romance or anything in life during that. Maybe you're very much focused on your hopes and wishes during the first round of the eclipse season. But in the October and November round of eclipses, when there is a solar eclipse in your 5th house and lunar eclipse in your 11th house, that time things are turned around a little bit. So that's the time maybe you are more keen to start a family, or maybe a passionate love affair, or get married, or or maybe focus more on vacation or hobbies, or all that. And maybe you will be moving away a little bit from collaboration, friends, social circle, collective, expressing yourself in a collective environment and all that. So Cancer, during this eclipse season, it's about finding a balance between expression for self, for your self gratification, and contributing to the collective in a group environment, in an organization, whatever that might be. So just be mindful during this entire eclipse season not to be overly focused on yourself, or on the flip side, not be overly focused on the collective. It's always a good idea to find a balance. And at the end of the day, Cancer, if there are any energies that you need to release in either of the house matter, whether it's 11th or 5th house matter, something that is not working, something that is old and is redundant, is not growing you, it's good to release and move on from that stuck energy, release it, reach a culmination and move forward. So these eclipses are accompanied by new moon and full moon. So, and during the new moon time, it's about new beginning in that house matter, and around full moon it's about reaching a culmination of something that was started. So in new moon you are starting something new, and full moon you are completing something that you have already started. So Cancer, during this eclipse season, you're very much focused on achieving, on developing yourself, influencing others, and spreading your influence, reaching out to groups of people, making your mark in the world, and really offering your service, whatever you have, your expression, your creativity to for everyone to see, Cancer. Leos, for you, the 2022 eclipse season is focused on your 10th house and 4th house axis. So, this 2022 eclipse season occurs on the Taurus and Scorpio axis. Now, Taurus sign is in your 10th house and Scorpio is your 4th house. So, you will have the eclipses occurring on the 10th and 4th house axis. Now, there is a 2 rounds of eclipses occurring in the next 6 months, from April 30th April until 8th of November. The first round is on the 30th of April and 16th of May, which is a solar eclipse in the sign of Taurus in your 10th house on 30th of April. And then there is a lunar eclipse on the 16th of May in the month of May in the sign of Scorpio, that is your 4th house. Now, after that, there is a bit of a gap. And then in the month of October, 25th October, there is a solar eclipse in the sign of Scorpio, which is your 4th house. And then there would be a lunar eclipse in the sign of Taurus in your 10th house on the 8th of November. Now, a solar eclipse is accompanied with a new moon, and a lunar eclipse is accompanied with a full moon. Now, new moon is a time of new beginnings, and full moon is a time of culmination, completion of something that was started, in the last 6 months. Now, the 10th house and 4th house axis is all about your innermost self and your public image. So 10th house is to do with your outer image, and 4th house is to do with your own innermost private self. So with 4th house energy, you're dealing with your private innermost self, your home matters, your family, roots, foundation, your inner psychological self, your psyche as well, how you think, your own emotional and physical foundation, your own emotional comfort, where you find relaxation and comfort, stability and security. Now, the 10th house is to do with your career matter, professional matter, business matter, public image, your reputation, your calling in life, your fame, your worldly ambitions, achievements, recognition, contribution to society, and all that. So Leos, as your 10th house and 4th house axis is activated during this eclipse season, you're very much focused on finding a balance between your 4th house energy and your 10th house energy. So you need to nurture yourself and others are definitely at the forefront during this time. Now, besides nurturing yourself and others, you're also focused on your goals and ambitions, worldly goals and ambition, outwardly goals and ambitions, most definitely, because North Node is in your 10th house. So wherever North Node is, that's the energy we are growing in and we are progressing into. And South Node is in your 4th house, so you are completing something in your 4th house matter. So in the first round of the eclipse season on the 30th of April, you will have the opportunity to begin something new in your 10th house matter, in your career matter, in your professional matter. So this is a great time to have a fresh beginning, a complete new start, where your public image is concerned, where your worldly ambitions is concerned, where your career matter is concerned, with the job you do, the business if you have, whatever that might be. This is a great time to start something new. Now, on the 16th of May, there's a lunar eclipse in your 4th house. This is a great time to complete something or reach a fulfillment or gratification where your 4th house matter is concerned. So if there was something started in the last 6 months, you will reach a culmination in your 4th house matter on the 16th of May. Now, the second round of eclipse is in the October, November. So the first one is a solar eclipse in your 4th house. Now, solar eclipse is about new beginnings. So you will have some kind of new beginning or opportunity for new beginning in your fourth house matter, which is your home environment. And that energy lasts for 6 months. So from 25th of October, you may experience that new beginning unfold over the 6 months period. Now, on the 8th of November, the lunar eclipse in the sign of Taurus will lead to some kind of fulfillment, gratification, completion, culmination in your career matters. Now, Leo's eclipses mean major shift, transformation, major shakeups, sudden shakeups as well in your 10th house and 4th house axis. So it's very important to find a balance between these two energies, and not focus on one thing more than the other, because when you focus on one thing more than the other, you may things related to the matters that you've ignored may pop up later and may trouble you. So it's paramount that so it's very important to balance the energies of nurturing yourself, nurturing others, and also balancing it with being recognized for your work, for your achievements, for your goals, whatever you want to achieve. Your career matters. So there might be issues arising during this time of lacking self-care, and you are overly extending yourself, taking care of other people, and in turn you are forgetting about yourself, your own well-being, or you're being or you're being overly workaholic, and you're not taking care of your intimate life, your home life, and your family members and all that. So the best way forward, Leos, is to find a balance between both these energies. Now, your home and family matters is definitely very much at the forefront, as is your career matters. Now, Leos, during this eclipse season, it's also very important to find a purpose in life, a life direction, and this is both in your 10th house and 4th house matter. So you are definitely focused on a new life direction. You're connected more spiritually with your life direction. You want something to you want a purpose in life. You need a life path, a direction that you feel connected with, and that's where your calling in life, your vocation comes into play. But you're also very much connected to your home environment as well, your own emotional and physical foundation, your own inner validation. So you're balancing external validation with your inner fulfillment, inner contentment during this time. So, Leos, this eclipse season is a lot about your job situation, your business. If you got a business, any kind of professional environment, professional goals that you have, goals and ambition, those are the matters that is getting majorly affected during this time. And also matters related to your home, your home environment and family matters, your roots, wherever your roots is, and that can be your current root, where you have laid down your root, or even where you have laid down your roots, or even from childhood, childhood roots. Maybe you are connecting with your childhood roots. So you will feel the need to advance during this eclipse season, the entire eclipse season, and make a change regarding where you're heading in life. So they may be just watch out for any kind of power plays with your authority figures, whoever in your job and career, or or with business partners as well, if you have any power issues, control issues. So just be mindful of those energies. And also with your fourth house matter, you may be buying or selling property, or improving or constructing your property, or even you could start a home-based business during this time, because 10th house is career matter, and for fourth house is your homes. So with this eclipse axis, you could be starting a home-based business, and it's a very good time to start something from your home, something that is fulfilling and gratifying, Leos. So, Leos, overall, this 2022 eclipse season is all about having that emotional and personal impact on, people you love, people you bond with, people around you in your home environment, in your emotional setting, and also generating your own means of earning and relying on your status to get things done, on your achievements, and just be a little bit more connected with your life direction, Leos. Virgos, for you, the 2022 eclipse season is going to bring a lot of focus on your ninth house and third house matter. Now, Taurus and Scorpio is the axis where the eclipse is occurring in the year 2022, starting with a solar eclipse in the sign of Taurus in your ninth house, which is on the 30th of April. And then there's a lunar eclipse in the sign of Scorpio in your third house on the 16th of May. Now, after that, the second round of eclipse occurs in the month of October and November, first being the solar eclipse in the sign of Scorpio in your third house on the 25th of October. And then on the 8th of November, there's a lunar eclipse in the sign of Taurus in your ninth house. Now, Virgos, your ninth house and third house axes are activated during this time. And when ninth and third house axes are activated, this means there is an opportunity to get a new life direction, new life purpose, new understanding, new perspective, new experiences regarding just life, your mindset, your outlook, your perspective, your belief system. All these things is going through a major shift during this time. Now, eclipses does bring sudden changes, sudden shifts, massive shifts, turning point. It's a time of transformation and transition. So your ninth house matter, which is to do with your belief system, your worldview, your learning, traveling needs, your personal growth, expansion, your wider perspective, how you see things from a larger perspective, your philosophy, your search for meaning in life, and just an overall need to explore, expand, and experience new thing, have an adventure. Now, third house, on the other hand, is to do with learning. It's to do with your mindset, your perception, your outlook. It's to do with your immediate environment. Ninth house is more to do with the world and traveling abroad, and third house is more local environment. So this is also to do with your everyday environment, how you adapt to circumstances in your everyday environment. It's to do with your communication, connection, networking, your siblings, your close ties. So all these are third house matter. Now, the first set of eclipse that occurs in April and May is the solar eclipse in your ninth house. So this solar eclipse on 30th of April is an opportunity for new beginning in your ninth house matter. So this is a great time for you if you want to, travel, connect with people from far off land, distant land, which you have not connected before. This is a great time to really do that. It's also a great time to start something new in terms of learning something new, or expanding your mindset, your belief system, having an adventure, new experiences, and all that. Now, there's a lunar eclipse on the 16th of May in the sign of Scorpio, which is your third house. So, a lunar eclipse is a time of culmination because it's accompanied with a full moon, and full moon is about completion, culmination. So, anything you started in the last 6 months reaches a culmination during this eclipse, during this full moon in Scorpio. Now, anything related to your third house matter, especially if you have a certain way of doing things, old way of functioning, this is a time to release, especially in terms of your communication, connections. You may be reconnecting with your siblings or reconnecting with your local environment as well during this time. Now, the second round of eclipse is in October, November. So the first one is a solar eclipse in the sign of Scorpio in your third house. So solar eclipse is accompanied with a new moon. So during this time in October, you will have the opportunity to have some kind of fresh start in your third house matter. So in terms of, maybe learning a new language or communication, connecting with people, or third house is also to do with, business dealings, vehicles, or local trips. So maybe something to do with that. You can introduce something during that time. Now, lunar eclipse is in the sign of Taurus in on the 8th of November in your ninth house. So that's the time when something you started in the last 6 months, 6 months before the month of November, can reach a culmination. Maybe an education program that you are doing, reaches a completion, or whatever your mindset, maybe something you're connecting, your belief system, your worldview, all those things, you reach a conclusion, you reach a fulfillment during that time. Now, Virgos, an eclipse is a time during which you are stepping outside your familiar zone. The way you have been functioning in your ninth house and third house matter, or in the way you seek stability, security, release, and just the way you connect with yourself, your own needs and others. during this time is going through a shift. So it's very important to think beyond your limits and really go beyond. Now, ninth house is the house of exploring. So it is about taking a risk, going beyond, and learning new things, and where your perspective, your worldview, your mindset is concerned. This is a time not to restrict yourself and really, be open to new ways of thinking, new ways, new perspective, new listening to other people's viewpoint. This is great time also for education, knowledge, just all the ninth house and third house themes, which is to do with communication, connecting, networking, learning, traveling. All these things is great time to focus on these matters. And if there's an old energy, stuck energy in these matters, you will go through a shift. The eclipse is all about sudden shift. It's about massive shift. It's about really, it's a turning point. It's a transformative time. So old ways will give way to new ways of doing things. And if you don't give way to old ways, then you will feel stuck, and it can be a very challenging period for you, Virgos. So make sure you're learning as much as you can, expanding as much as you can, and you will also get an understanding of what you do, why you do, what you believe in, what other people's perspective are, what is your perspective, why you think in a certain way. Do you need to change your way of thinking? Do you need to bring in new energies, new philosophies, new way of thinking in your life? All those perspectives, all that is going through a change. Now, Virgos, also don't restrict yourself in terms of not being open to new ideas, because if you think that you already know everything and there's nothing more to learn, then this eclipse can be challenging, because it is going to shake up your whole mentality, your outlook, your perception of everything around, whether it's your immediate environment or worldview. Everything is going through a change. So the best thing to do is to be open to change, and be open to new ways of thinking, be open to new ways of perceiving, communicating, and connecting. And this can definitely happen through traveling, learning, connecting with people and places you haven't connected before. It's time for adventure. It's time for really believing and thinking, stepping outside your environment, your current environment, whatever that might be. And this can be not just your city. You can maybe traveling abroad, distant lands. Virgos, all these can also lead to a relocation, because you may travel somewhere and you may find that environment more conducive for your growth. So relocation is also definitely a possibility with this axis. It may not be a long term, maybe for a few years, or it may be long term. So whatever that might be, that's down to you. Definitely, there's a massive shift happening in the way you think, you perceive, you function, and all that. So Virgos, overall, this eclipse season is going to make you spiritually evolved, and involve you as well spiritually. So you're making plans, going abroad, traveling, learning new language. You're also being part of the community, offering your service. So this is time of self-improvement, personal development, connecting with your siblings as well, if you've not been bonding with them in last few years, or whatever, in the last few years. So it's time to reconnect with them as well. So Virgos, definitely find a way to balance this axis. Ninth and third house axis is going through massive change during this eclipse season. So it's a good idea to balance the energies of this axis, and you have this desire for learning and search of meaning is definitely there. You want to expand yourself, you want to expand your horizon, you want to inspire others, you want to learn, and you want to expand your knowledge base. So just be mindful not to over search for knowledge and meaning and philosophy in life, and never really practically use it, or influence others, or use it to support and influence others or yourself as well. So definitely with this axis, there could be a tendency to be always seeking and learning, and never using the knowledge that you have gained. So Virgos, you will experience massive shift in the way you connect with your own self, your own philosophy, and the way you open yourself up to other philosophies, other perspective. Virgos, thank you. Libras, for you, the 2022 eclipse season occurs on your second and eighth house axis. Now, second and eighth house axis is where the Taurus and Scorpio sign is for you, Libras. Now, eighth house is where your Taurus sign is, and second house is where your Scorpio sign is. Now, the eclipses season runs from the April 30th of April 2022 until the 8th November 20 until 8th November 2022. Now, the first round of eclipse occurs on 30th of April and 16th of May. The first one is a solar eclipse in the sign of Taurus in your 8th house on the 30th of April. And then the lunar eclipse on the 16th of May in the sign of Scorpio is in your second house, Libras. After that, the second round of eclipse occurs in the month of October and November. So the first one is on the 25th of October, which is a solar eclipse in the sign of Scorpio in your second house. And on the 8th of November, there's a lunar eclipse in the sign of Taurus in your eighth house. So second house and eighth house axis is activated during this eclipse season in the year 2022. Now, eclipses are a time of sudden changes, major shifts. It's a time of transformation. So whatever the way you have been functioning until now, old energies, it's time to, renew it. It's time to let go of old stuck energies that is not functioning anymore. This is the time to step out and go beyond your limits. Don't limit yourself during this time where your second and eighth house matters are concerned. Now, second and eighth house matter is to do with your security and stability. It's to do with your resources, your money matters, your value system, your talents, and this can be both physical object resources and your values, your talents, and all that as well. Now, the second and eighth house axis is also to do with material gains, but it's also to do with transformation and regeneration. So eclipses on second and eighth house basically teaches us that nothing is permanent in life and change is a fact of life. So don't get overly attached with a certain way of doing things, whether it's your own stability and security in terms of your resources and money making capabilities, your financial matters or resources, because transformation and regeneration is definitely part of life. Now, eighth house, where your Taurus sign is about a transformation. It's about regeneration. It's about shared finances, shared resources, shared values. It's about intimate bonding. It's to do with other people's money and resources, and that can be social finance, bank related money matters as well. So inheritance, loans, taxes, all these come under the eighth house matter. Now, second house is to do with your own personal money matters, your own accumulated wealth, your material possessions, your resources, your talents, the way you financially support yourself, the way your own security, your ability to survive in the world, and your self-worth as well. So Libras, during this eclipse season, all these matters is going to go through a shift for you. Now, Libra, this eclipse season for you is all about material and immaterial worlds. So material side of life and spiritual side of life, because eighth house is a Scorpio energy. It's a transformative house. It's to do with other people's money as well, but it's a very spiritual energy as well. So you're transforming, you're going deeper, understanding your psychological, your inner motivation, what is important to you, whether it's material or immaterial. Where does your value system lies, how other people value you, and how you value yourself. So the true value, the true worth, the true self-worth is not a external thing. It's more internal, how you function within yourself, how confident you are in your own strength, talents, and abilities. That's what this eclipse season is about for you, Libras. So Libras, during the 6 months, you will be very keen to find new ways, new creative ways to earn money, to make money. Now, you may come by some kind of inheritance, loan, some gain from other people's money. And this can be a mutually benefiting financial situation. It can be through spousal money. It can be through, inheritance or a business as well, business partnership, or just your business as well, where you're making money through other people. So the main focus during this eclipse is your money matters, your material matters, and also your immaterial values. things. The tangible and the intangible aspect is definitely going through a major shift during this time. Now this eclipse can also burn your pockets in terms of you may be splurging, spending a lot of money as well, because second house is to do with possession as well, wanting to buy things, beautiful luxurious things. So just be mindful of having a financial plan budget so that you don't end up in a financial crisis during this time. Now the first round of eclipse that occurs in April and May. The first is the solar eclipse in Taurus, which is your eighth house. So that means a new beginning. A solar eclipse is accompanied with a new moon. So it means a new beginning. So you can expect some kind of new beginning, fresh start, fresh perspective in your eighth house matter, which is, your other people's money, shared finance, shared resources, how you build resources together with other people. So you can have some kind of new beginning in your eighth house matter. Now, on the 16th of May, the lunar eclipse occurs in your second house in the sign of Scorpio. So that's your personal finance. So you may reach a culmination. If you started something in the last 6 months, you may reach a fruition during this time in your personal finance, your own resources. Now the second round of eclipse occurs in October and November. So the first one is an eclipse in your second house, which is a solar eclipse on the 25th of October. So your personal finance, there's an opportunity for new beginning in the way you make money, your own value system, your own resources. So there's a fresh start opportunity for that in October. And in the month of November, on the 8th of November, there's a lunar eclipse in your 8th house. So that time you may reach a culmination, a release of completion, of fulfillment, gratification in something you started in the previous 6 months regarding your joint finances, resources, shared finances and all that. So Libras, Taurus and Scorpio eclipse is about stability and security. And with your second and eighth house being emphasized during this eclipse, it's all about your security and stability. And this is not just material, but also, your own value system, your own stable value system going forward, Libras. So Libras, during this eclipse season, it's very important to find a balance between, using your own talents and power and capability to build your resources, and have the stable, and have the stability and security. And also be mindful that this eclipse season can bring a kind of energy where you feel that whatever you're earning is not enough, whatever resources that you have built is not enough. So you may get into a kind of unhealthy kind of situation where you are overworking and really just money focused during this time. And this can affect your own well-being, your own family environment. Power dynamics can come into play with the eighth house axis. So it's very important to lead from a balanced space, Libras. Now you are a sign of balancing out, Libra. So use this energy and find a balance between your resources, your survival instinct, your security, and the need to transform and regenerate any old ways and transmute old ways that's not functioning, not growing you, where your money making, creating money is concerned, and you're not judging your personal worth through the amount of money you're making. So Libras, during this eclipse season, you are definitely focused on supporting yourself, using your talents to make more money. It's also about inheritance or other people's money, and finding a balance in your home and family life in terms of having more stability and security with your resources, with your material and immaterial gains, Libras. Thank you. Scorpios, for you, the 2022 eclipse season occurs on your seventh and first house axis, because Taurus is the opposite sign to you. So it's in your seventh house and your sign is first house. So seventh house and first house axis is emphasized during this eclipse season. So seventh and first house axis is the axis of relationship, which is to do with the relationship with yourself and with other people. Now, the eclipses will run from 30th of April 2022 until 8th November 2022. So the next 6 months is your eclipse season. So you will experience major shift, major change, transformation, complete shakeup in your seventh house and first house axis. Now, the first eclipse that occurs is on 30th of April. It's a solar eclipse occurring in the sign of Taurus in your seventh house. And then there is a lunar eclipse in the sign of Scorpio in your sign.
on the 16th of May. Then the second round of eclipse starts in the month of October and November. The first one being the solar eclipse in your sign, in your first house, on the 25th of October. And the second one is a lunar eclipse in your seventh house in the sign of Taurus in your eighth, on the 8th of November. Now, solar eclipse is accompanied with a new moon, so it's a time of new beginnings, and lunar eclipse is accompanied with a full moon, so it's a time of completion, something you started in the last 6 months. So you will experience major shift where your sense of self is concerned, your self-image, your personal destiny, your priority, and how you relate with other people, your social interaction, people in your life, significant people in your life, ties, close ties, and also business ties as well. So it's not just personal relationship, it's also business relationship. So business partnership, if you have those in your life or you want to make those ones going forward, all these matters are definitely in the focal during this time. So, Scorpio, this eclipse season is all about you learning to improve relationship, because North Node is in your seventh house and South Node is in your first house. So, you're shifting the focus from yourself to relationship matters. So, this is a great time to improve personal and business relationship and partnership. So, relationship matters and partnership matters may begin or end during this eclipse season. Now you have both solar eclipse and lunar eclipse in your seventh house, so you will experience a relationship beginning and coming to completion as well during this time. Now you may be in a situation where a spouse or a close friend needs your support and advice during this time. This is a great time to extend that support and trust other people as well, Scorpios, because with North Node in your seventh house, you are definitely learning to engage socially more during this time and not be overly focused on yourself. Now, with the eclipses in your first house, you are changing the way you're projecting yourself, your mindset regarding how the world perceives you and how you project yourself is all going through a transformation, a shift as well. So, you want to change the perception, you want to project yourself differently during this time, and you're very self motivated as well. You're discovering yourself or rediscovering yourself, and also how you function in a relationship. So, Scorpio, this is the time to understand what you need from other people to feel complete, to feel fulfilled, and what you need from yourself to bring that fulfillment in other people's life as well. So, your partnership, your marriage, any contracts and agreements, working with other people, a spouse, counselors, teachers, anything, friendship, friends, all that comes to the forefront during this time, and you will experience major shift in these areas. Now, Scorpios, just be mindful not to lose your independence because you want to improve your relationship, whether it's personal or business. So try to balance the axis of seventh and first house and do engage with people, have a socially active life during this time, but don't go to the limit of, depending on other people, interdependence or codependence. Now, the opposite side of this can be becoming a recluse. So don't go in a hermit mode either. So try to balance these energy. Don't isolate yourself or don't overly depend on other people. So at the end of the day, Scorpios, you are creating and developing and improving relationship during this time, and you are engaging with other people as well more, whether it's business or personal, and also you're exploring your own self, your own priorities, your own life path. You're evaluating your own life path, the overall life path in terms of your relationship with yourself and others. You are exploring yourself, you're exploring your relationship with other people, and you do have a desire for freedom and independence during this time, but also you're balancing that energy with creating and developing, building, growing relationship with other people. Now, during this time, Scorpios, you may commit to a relationship, move in together, make it official. So all these energies are there as well, because first house and seventh house axis can also to do, because seventh house is also to do with marriage and commitment and committed significant others, so that energy is definitely there. So if you are looking to commit, this is a great time to think about that, and you will see this energy over the next 6 months. Now, Scorpio, in the first round of eclipse that occurs in April and May, you will experience some kind of new beginning in your seventh house matter, in your relationship matter. So new encounters, new relationship, new partnership, new business partnership can develop, start during this Taurus solar eclipse on 30th of April. And lunar eclipse is in your sign, in the sign of Scorpio, in first house on the 16th of May. So you may be releasing your old ways of doing things, being too controlling or depending just on yourself too much, really bringing some kind of collaborative energy, cooperative energy going forward. Now, in October and November, the solar eclipse occurs in the sign of Scorpio, which is your sign in your first house. And there's a lunar eclipse in the seventh house, which is your partnership house. So at that time, self-knowledge and self-exploration can lead to new beginning in your sense of self, your life path, your destiny, your direction in life, just your overall, the way you project yourself as well, and the way other people perceive you. And in the November month, there is a lunar eclipse in the sign of Taurus in your seventh house. So at that time, any partnership can come to completion or release during that time, or fulfillment. So it can be a business partnership or personal partnership as well. So that can come to an ending or a readjustment. Your mindset may change around your relationship during that time, and you may see your relationship in a new way, going forward. So Scorpios, overall, this 2022 eclipse season in the sign of Taurus and Scorpio is all about balancing your needs, your ambition, your drives, your boundaries with other people's ambitions, needs, drives, and boundaries. So you are balancing their needs with your needs. So you're cooperating, negotiating, coming together, trusting, and building relationship, improving relationship a lot during this time. And that's where the major shift will occur during the 6 months period in 2022. So Scorpios, be open and connect with others and make an impact on other people, and also at the same time balance it out with expressing a new way of being in the world, and projecting yourself differently, Scorpios. Thank you. Sagittarius. For you, the 2022 eclipse season occurs on your 6th house and 12th house axis. Now, this eclipse is on Taurus and Scorpio axis. So, your Taurus sign is in the 6th house and your Scorpio sign is in your 12th house. So, 6th house and 12th house axis is all to do with your daily life, your daily habits, your work matters, health matters, your daily routine, your lifestyle, just generally your just generally your daily productivity and usefulness. And 12th house is to do with your subconscious self, your spiritual side, the need to take a break, retreat, to experience immaterial things, things beyond the physical plane, and meditation and yoga and all that. Now, this eclipse occurring on your 6th and 12th house axis, Sagittarius, this eclipse season is all about balancing the service that you provide to yourself and to others. Now, the eclipse season runs from the 30th of April all the way up to 8th of November 2022. So the first round of eclipse will occur in the month of April on 30th of April, which is a solar eclipse in the sign of Taurus. So that will be in your 6th house of work and health matters. And then there is a lunar eclipse on the 16th of May in the sign of Scorpio, which is your 12th house. So that's to do with spiritual connection and your own, your own well-being, your own healing. Now, after that, there is another round of eclipses in the month of October and November. The first one being a solar eclipse in the sign of Scorpio on the 25th of October, which is your 12th house. And then there is a lunar eclipse in the sign of Taurus on the 8th of November, which is your 6th house. So Sagittarius, eclipses are a time of major shift, major shakeups, sudden changes, transformation, transition, complete change in matters of wherever it occurs. So for you, it's 6th and 8th house matter. Now, that means any habits, any old ways of doing, daily routine, structures of the day, your job matters, your health matters as well. All these things will go through a change, a transformation, and your mindset is going to change around these matters too. Now, 12th house is obviously going beyond the physical plane. So 6th house is to do with the daily grind, what you do on a daily basis. And 12th house is to do with your spiritual side, connecting to your spiritual self. And it's also to do with past pattern, old patterns, limiting patterns, subconscious patterns. So you're releasing any old ways of doing things which is holding you back, Sagittarius. Now, Sagittarius, on the 30th of April, the solar eclipse that occurs in your sixth house is a time when you can experience a new beginning in your sixth house matter, which is your work and health matters. So you may change your job, or you may get a new job, or you may change how you do things on a daily basis. Your routines, your daily life, how you function, how you take care of yourself, your health matters as well. And sixth and 12th house axis is to do with your mind, body, and spirit. So during this eclipse season, you will go through a transformation in terms of how you see yourself, your mind, body, and spirit. And this is the time to bring that positive change. Now, if you are stuck in old energy, Sagittarius, this eclipse season is going to shake these things up. So your daily routine, the way you function on a daily basis, if there's any old energies that needs to be released, you will have to go through that. Now, in the month of April, there is an opportunity for new beginning in your sixth house matter, and there's an opportunity to release old ways of doing things in your 12th house matter in the month of May. So if you got old limiting patterns, especially self-sabotaging, self-deceiving your own mindset, if you are limiting yourself, for example, you don't want to do a certain kind of job, you're stuck in a way of organizing your daily life, and you don't want to include your well-being and health in it. You are a workaholic, you overextend yourself, you always want to be of service to other people, and you're not taking care of your health. So this eclipse is going to change all that, and you will have to take care of your health and your well-being, and be focused on maintaining a more balanced approach where your sixth house and 12th house matter is concerned. So if you are overworked, if you're overextending yourself, you need to take time out to rest as well. Now, this is a great time to connect spiritually as well. Now, don't completely withdraw from the people and your daily life, because that's not what you're trying to achieve during this eclipse season, because North Node is in your sixth house. So the year 2022 is about focusing on your work and health matters anyways, but it's a good idea to balance it with, your time off, rest, recouping yourself, rejuvenating, recharging your batteries, taking a break, even, withdrawing from people, spending time in solitude, some quiet hours that can help your well-being, help you to have that, a peaceful time where you can, take care of yourself. Now, Sagittarius, there will be a solar eclipse in the month of October in the sign of Scorpio in your 12th house. So this is the time to really, understand your life path, reevaluate your life path, have a new beginning in the way you connect spiritually, or also with yourself, your own self, your own inner motivation, how you connect with that. So this is a great time to do that. And the November eclipse that occurs in the sign of Taurus in your sixth house, which is a lunar eclipse. So during this time, you will reach a completion or culmination of something that started 6 months ago. So that can be, maybe you started a health regime during this solar eclipse in the month of April, and in the month of November, you have achieved in improving your health. And also it could be work related in terms of how you organize your day. You could reach a kind of fulfillment or gratification during the month of November. So definitely your sixth house and eighth house, which is to do with adjusting your daily life, your health matters, your work matters. If something is overwhelming you, something is not good, or something you want to bring new energy in your life, this is a great time to do that. Really turn around the way you function on a daily basis. And it's also time to retreat from other people and take a break and connect with your inner self, grow spiritually, meditate, do yoga. Just really be focused on your well-being and your healing. And this eclipse season is going to change your mindset, really bring a turnaround in the way you function, and really take care of your mind, body, and spirit, Sagittarius. So, overall, Sagittarius, this eclipse season for you is all about balancing your daily life, your productivity, your need to be of service to others, with the need to service for yourself, care for yourself, your focus on your own healing, on your own well-being, your own spiritual growth, your own personal development, connecting with your intuitive self, really balancing the energies regarding being of service to others and being of service to yourself, Sagittarius. Thank you. Capricorn, for you, the 2022 eclipse season in Taurus and Scorpio axis occurs on your 5th house and 11th house axis. Now, fifth house is where your Taurus sign is, and 11th house is where your Scorpio sign is, Capricorn. Now, the 2022 eclipse season runs from 30th of April 2022 all the way to the 8th of November 2022. Now, the first round of eclipses occurs in the month of April and May. First one is on the 30th of April, which is a solar eclipse in the sign of Taurus in your fifth house, Capricorn. And the second one is a lunar eclipse in the sign of Scorpio in your 11th house, which is on the 16th of May. Now, after that, the second round of eclipse is in the month of October and November. The first one being solar eclipse in the sign of Scorpio, which is your 11th house on the 25th of October, and on the 8th of November there is a lunar eclipse in the sign of Taurus in your 5th house. So a solar eclipse is accompanied with a new moon, and a lunar eclipse is accompanied with a full moon. And a lunar eclipse is a time of culmination of something you started 6 months ago or within that 6 months period. So you will experience new beginnings and culmination and major shakeups, major shift in your fifth house and 11th house axis. Now, Capricorn, fifth house is to do with self expression, solar projects, your creativity, love affairs, romance, children, recreation, pleasures, talents, hobbies, basically anything that is close to your heart, something you do for enjoyment and delight. It's matters related to your heart, what brings you joy in your heart, very heart led house. Fifth house is a very heart led house. So the love you give others is all a fifth house matter. Now, 11th house is to do with the collective conscience, and it's more to do with your social circle, it's to do with your group you belong to, the club you belong to, organization you belong to. It's to do with your future goals and wishes, your hopes and wishes, dreams, and all that, and also to do with your professional gains. So, 11th house and 5th house axis is what is going to go through major transformation for you, Capricorn. So during this time, Capricorn, you are ready to express yourself, your innermost self, the talents, the skills, the capabilities, whatever you have, the self-expression, expressing yourself creatively is definitely you going to be definitely focused on that, and also be focused on your future plans and goals, your hopes and wishes, connecting with other people, your social group and all that. Now, the first round of eclipse that occurs in the month of April and May, the first one being in the month of April on 30th of April, which is a solar eclipse in your fifth house. So that is a time of new beginnings in your fifth house matter. So this could be a time when you start a passionate love affair, or you get married, or you start a family, or you get involved in some kind of hobbies, maybe new hobby, or a creative project, or a solo project, or just doing things that brings joy and gratification to you, Capricorns. Maybe you're spending more time with your children, having a lot of fun, and really indulging in recreational activities. Now, fifth house is to do with self-expression, solar project. So you could be starting, so you could be becoming self-employed during this time because you want to start your own business. You want to use your creativity and talent to start something new, and and this is the time you could be willing to take a risk. Now, lunar eclipse is a time on the 16th of May when you could be completing a grip project, or you may be reaching a culmination in terms of something you started in the last 6 months, where your group project or collaboration is concerned. So that is your lunar eclipse on the 16th of May energy, which is in the sign of Scorpio. Now, in the month of October and November, the energy of eclipse is turned around in terms of there's a solar eclipse in your 11th house, which is a house of collaboration and group projects. So you could be starting something new in terms of a new collaboration, or something in the month of October. And there's a lunar eclipse in your fifth house in November. So then you could be moving away or completing something, a solar project that you started in the last 6 months. So Capricorn, during this eclipse season, you are definitely very much focused on making plans regarding yourself, your own growth, your own creativity, even long-term plans, future plans with the 11th house energies. You have hopes and wishes, and you want to achieve them. So you are thinking more on a long-term basis during this time. And also you're putting yourself out there and expressing yourself, expressing your talent, creativity during this time, and going forward as well during this eclipse season. So you're definitely connecting with your creative energy during this time. You have a new focus. You are willing to take a risk. You are willing to put yourself out there. You are willing to use your talents and creativity to achieve your goals and ambitions. Fifth house is to do with procreation as well, which can be a creative project or children as well. So you could be starting a family or getting married as well, or starting a new relationship. Any fifth house matter or 11th house matter is going through a major shakeup during this eclipse period. So Capricorn, during this eclipse season, it's time to balance the energies where your fifth house and 11th house energy is concerned. So you do want to be visible, and you do want to contribute to what your talents and capabilities are, and also balancing it with working in a group, in an environment, which is a team environment or collective environment, and contributing to a collective as well, and also projecting your own talents, and expressing your own creative instincts, creative energies for the world to see. Now Capricorns, just be mindful not to be overly focused on your own energies and just yourself, and leading everything from yourself, from your own agenda, and not giving importance to group project or collective environment, or not wanting to cooperate with other people. Just be mindful not to lead any kind of creative energies during this time from an egoistic space, and just balance the energies out. So overall Capricorn, during this eclipse season, you're definitely very much focused on achieving, becoming, and developing and influencing other people. You're using your creative energies. You want to influence other people. You want to make an impact. And also you want to use your creative energies, your influence, your impact to reach out to maximum people, as many people as you can. So it's really a great time to really show what you're made of, show your talents, creativity, and all that, Capricorn. Thank you. Aquarius, for you, the 2022 eclipse season occurs on your fourth house and 10th house axis. Now, this eclipses are on the Taurus and Scorpio axis. That's where your fourth and 10th house is. Your fourth house is Taurus sign, and your 10th house is Scorpio. So the eclipse season runs from the 30th of April all the way to the 8th of November 2022. Now, there's two rounds of eclipses. The first one being a solar eclipse in the sign of Taurus, which is your fourth house, on the 30th of April. And then there's a lunar eclipse in the sign of Scorpio on the 16th of May, which will be your 10th house. Now, after that, there's a second round of eclipses in the month of October and November. The first one being a solar eclipse in the sign of Scorpio on the 25th of October, and then the second one is a lunar eclipse in the sign of Taurus on the 8th of November. So Aquarius, you will experience major shift, shakeups, transformation, turning points on this axis, on the fourth and 11th house axis. So fourth house is to do with your private innermost self. It's to do with your home matters, family, roots. Now this now it can be childhood roots, or wherever you have laid your roots, wherever you have laid your foundation. So your current roots, where you live currently. So your current roots, wherever you live currently, can go through a transformation. So fourth house is to do with your emotional and physical foundation. Now the 10th house is to do with your career matters, your public image, your reputation, your place in the world, your achievements, accomplishments, ambitions, goals, life direction, life path, and all that. So the axis of the eclipses on these axes is bringing a major transformation in these matters. Now the eclipses mean that you need to get out of your comfort zone and go beyond what you do usually in terms of your home matters and your career matters both, because you will experience endings and beginnings on this axis during this eclipse season. Now, the first eclipse that occurs, which is a solar eclipse on 30th of April in the sign of Taurus, is your fourth house, which is your home matters. So you can experience some kind of new beginning where your home matters are concerned. So you could be buying a new house, maybe, or redecorating your house, or maybe connecting with your roots, or laying down your roots during this time, or you could be connecting with your family members, spending more time with family members, improving your relationship with family members during this time. Now, on the 16th of May, the lunar eclipse occurs in the sign of Scorpio. So, lunar eclipse is accompanied with a full moon, so it means completion. Now, Scorpio is your 10th house Aquarius, so you could reach some kind of completion in the matters of your career, which something you started in the last 6 months could reach a culmination fulfillment. Now, the second round of eclipse occurs in the month of October and November. The first one being a solar eclipse in the Scorpius. The first one being a solar eclipse in the sign of Scorpio in your 10th house. So, this is the time you can experience a new beginning where your career matters are concerned. So, do use the lunar eclipse time to release any old energies regarding your career matters. Now, on the 8th of November, the lunar eclipse in the sign of Taurus in your 4th house is a time to reach some kind of fulfillment, gratification, culmination, or ending where your home matters are concerned, where your roots are concerned. So you may be moving away from your current house situation, or you may be resolving or releasing some kind of old energy, stuck energies where your own emotional physical foundation is concerned, Aquarius. Now, Aquarius, for you, this eclipse season on 4th and 10th house axis is about nurturing yourself, caring for yourself, your own emotional well-being, and not necessarily always seeking external validation. What you are learning during this time is internal contentment, internal fulfillment, inner fulfillment. So that's where the shakeup is occurring. Your mindset around how you perceive your home environment, how you see your worldly, your image, reputation, outwardly image and reputation, your desire to be recognized in the world, Aquarius, and your need to nurture yourself, to find a balance within yourself, to really take care of your own needs and, your family members, people you live around, their needs. So, Aquarius, you will experience changes, transformation in both your 4th and 10th house axis. So if there are energies regarding your career matter or job matter or business matter that is getting old and is not helping you grow anymore, this is the time to renew that energy. This is the time to release old energy, to give way to new ways of looking at your career matter, new ways of looking at your own reputation, your public image, how you come across in the world. So this is a great time to change your mindset and bring in new energies. And as you bring in new energy, Aquarius, be more focused on your own inner fulfillment. You do not need to seek external validation all the time. If you're happy within yourself, if you're nurtured within yourself, that's what is more important. So do make sure you are balancing your 4th house and 10th house energy. Now, you do want achievements, responsibility, being out there, achieving your goals and ambition, being recognized for your work, balancing it out with the need to nurture yourself and people who you coexist with or you live with in your home environment. So you are definitely improving relationship and focusing more and spending time more with your loved ones. So, Aquarius, use this eclipse season to pave new ways, new direction, new opportunities where your home situation is concerned, and also your career matters, because you may come across people in your life that may help you understand your career or public image in a different way, in a different light during this time. And you will also get an understanding of what is the true nature behind your purpose, your life purpose, your direction, going forward, because 10th house is to do with your purpose, life direction. And the 4th house is to do with the inner fulfillment and inner understanding, awareness, and that need for security and stability in order to be in a place, in a space where you can extend yourself both to yourself and to your family members and externally as well, because you're balanced at the end of the day. You can achieve more because you're in a content state and you're not constantly seeking external validation and outward appearance of achievement. You're not seeking that. So this eclipse season is going to change your mindset around these matters and will help you connect with your soul essence, Aquarius. Now, Aquarius, just be mindful that you're not overly extending yourself to other people as well during this time, even if it is in your family environment. So self-care is definitely important during this time, and your own well-being is very much important during this time. So don't be a workaholic during this time, and balance it out. Basically, at the end of the day, your need to work and you need to build a career and you need to achieve your goals with the necessity to nurture yourself, self-care, building a home environment environment, and improving your home environment, relationship, and your own well-being as well. So Aquarius use this eclipse season to find an emotional and personal balance, and connect with people, bond with people, your people in your immediate environment, in your home environment, and with yourself as well. Connect with your own inner self as well, and balance it out with your need to work and achieve your goals. So it's all about focusing on your self during this time, on balancing it with your career matters. Pisces, for you, the 2022 eclipse season occurs on your third house and ninth house axis. Now, third house is where your Taurus sign is, Pisces, and ninth house is where Scorpio sign is for you. So, the eclipse season runs from April 30th April, all the way to 8th November 2022. Now, Pisces, eclipses are all about shakeups. It's about change. It's about transformation. It's about, moving away from old energy. This is also a time when you are growing and going beyond your what you do on a normal basis, what you have been doing until now. So your third house and ninth house axis, which is about, your perception and wider perception. So your perspective, your belief system, your philosophy, your communication, your opinion, mindset, outlook, all that is going through a major shift in the year 2022. Now, the first round of eclipse occurs in the sign of Taurus on 30th of April, which is a solar eclipse. And then there will be a lunar eclipse on the 16th of May in the sign of Scorpio, which is your ninth house. Now, a solar eclipse is accompanied with a new moon. So, during a solar eclipse, it's a time for new beginnings. And a lunar eclipse is accompanied with a full moon. So, during that time, it's a time of completion and culmination, especially something that was started in the last 6 months. So, on 30th of April, Pisces, there is an opportunity for new beginning in your third house matter. Now, third house matter is to do with your communication and your connections. So this is a time to really reach out and communicate more effectively during this time, to create that relationship with others, especially within your environment, your local environment, your neighborhood, your community, with your close ties. So this is a great time to really get involved in community activity. Now, the lunar eclipse that occurs on the 16th of May in your ninth house is a time of culmination. So something maybe you started in the last 6 months reaches a culmination during this time. Now, ninth house is to do with education, traveling, your belief system, new opportunities, languages, learning, teaching, publishing. So all these energies may reach a kind of culmination if you something start. Maybe you started to learn something. Maybe you were learning something the last 6 months, and that has reached the ending now. Now, in the October and November period, the eclipses are turned around. So there's a solar eclipse in your ninth house and a lunar eclipse in your third house. So a solar eclipse in your ninth house is a time of new beginnings in terms of your wider perspective, your worldview, education, how your traveling needs, connecting with other people, your personal growth, expansion, exploration, and really taking on new opportunities, and also a sense of adventure. That's what ninth house is. So you can experience some kind of new beginning in these matters. And on the 8th of November, there's a lunar eclipse in the sign of Taurus in your third house. So you may reach some culmination or release or fulfillment or ending in your third house matter. So this could be a time maybe you are moving away from your current environment and you want to maybe travel during this time, or something that you have been doing in the last 6 months comes to a fulfillment during this time. Now, Pisces, for you, this eclipse season is going to bring major change on your axis of perception and expansion. So the way you have been functioning until now, which is to do with your opinion, your mindset, your outlook, the way you function, the way you communicate, the way you connect with people in your close environment, and also your larger world views, going beyond your immediate environment and appreciating others' perspective, keeping yourself open to new experiences, growth and expansion. That is what is going through a major change, Pisces, during this eclipse season in the year 2022. So these eclipses can bring a positive energy for you, Pisces. So if you want to get involved in community activity, or just generally improve your daily life, maybe buy a vehicle, because third house is to do with local travel, local trips, short trips. So you need a car for that. And also connecting with your siblings or cousins, and really getting past any outdated mindset, outlook, thinking process, opinions, and all. This is what you're doing, releasing during this time. And also, you're balancing this with your need to travel, learn new things, experience new things, have an adventure, also evolve yourself spiritually. Because ninth house is a house of spirituality, it's about your philosophy. So you're growing all those things as well. And also, during this eclipse season, you may go through a kind of an ending in terms of an old belief system, old way of thinking. So this is a great time to really keep your mind open and experience new energies. And if circumstances are changing rapidly, this is the time you will need to adapt to changing environment, situation, circumstances, perception, mindset, the way you communicate, connect. All those things are going through a change. It's a time of complete transformation in the way you perceive your life, yourself, how other people perceive you, how you perceive other people. So, all that is going through a massive change. It's also a time of personal growth and expansion. So, you're also focused on the bigger picture, Pisces, and also adapting yourself to everyday environment. So, this eclipse, Pisces, is going to make you want to do things that you haven't done before, especially to do with your local environment. Now, Pisces, for you, the North Node is in your third house and the South Node is in your ninth house. So, there's a lot of focus on your immediate environment during this time, and not as much focus on the need to travel and get away. But at the end of the day, you need to achieve a balance between these two energies, and you may have the tendency to get away and travel. Maybe you wanted to do something for a long time and you could not do it, like traveling somewhere or learning something new, and you want to do that during this time. But do keep your focus on your close ties, your local environment, your environment where you live, where you connect with people, your community, and all that. So, Pisces, during this eclipse season, you may realize that an old way of thinking or functioning is not going to get you much further. So, this is a time to change your outlook and communicate more effectively. And even if you need to learn something new, whether it's in a job environment or a work environment, or maybe something you need to learn or relearn something to be more effective in the way you communicate and network with people, whether it's a business environment or a job environment or any environment. If you need to relearn and upskill yourself, this is a great time to do that, because third house is also to do with learning and upskilling yourself, retraining yourself, and taking even short courses to improve your capacity, to improve your capabilities. So, Pisces, make sure you're balancing your need to learn new things and experience new things, but also make sure you are using this knowledge. You are teaching other people, inspiring other people by the knowledge you have gained, the knowledge experience that you have gained during this time. This is a great time to use that as well, because this axis can have a tendency to be all the time learning and gaining knowledge, but never actually using the knowledge. So make sure, if you get the opportunity to teach, or maybe write or speak about it, it's a great time to use your knowledge to inspire others, Pisces. So overall, Pisces, during this eclipse season, you have ideas and thoughts and mindset and outlook, and your opinion, perception is all there. You're learning new things, you're expanding your knowledge base, and there's and there may be a desire to use that knowledge to inspire others, teach others as well. And also, you're expanding your wider worldview, your perspective. You're very much interested in expansion, and just the knowledge base. You are very much seeking new knowledge during this time, and want to experience new thing. You want to have an adventure as well. So make sure, Pisces, during this eclipse season, you understand what you think, why you think, what you're doing, and why you think. Where's your belief system? Where's your perspective? Where's your overall meaning and philosophy of life, Pisces? Thank you. So this was my 2022 eclipse season analysis for all the 12 zodiac sign. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you can understand the energies of the solar and lunar eclipse for the next 6 months, and for the energy lasts for the entire year, and be able to use and make changes, bring about that shift, go beyond your comfort zone, and use these energies to bring a positive change and growth in your life. So thank you very much again for watching, and have a lovely day. Thank you.